all the hats that I wear, being a storyteller is my favorite. And that's because I believe stories have the power to transform lives. Let me ask you this. What do you think makes a story unforgettable? Think of your favorite movie or book. What makes it truly stick with you? To me, a great story has three essential elements: a main character, an inciting incident that turns his or her world upside down, and a powerful transformation. We can find these three elements in any bestseller, yet we forget their power and relevance in the most important story of all. And that's not a story that you will read, but one that you will write, your own life story. So while today I'm going to share my story, I hope to inspire you to take control of yours, the narrative that will shape your life. We are all the main characters in our own life stories, as I was in mine. I was living the quintessential perfect life in Dubai with my husband and 2 children. We lived in this amazing city, in a beautiful home. My kids went to one of the best schools. My husband provided well for us, while I took care of the children and worked from home, writing stories and screenplays. Life was truly as good as it gets, until the one big event that turned my life upside down. The event that took me into an uncharted horizon occurred on the 15th of February, 2014. I had just watched the cardiac team at Rashid Hospital in Dubai try to revive my husband's heart for the 20th time. It was just like in the movies, a very code red situation. In these situations, they will do anything to get the heart working again, even if it means breaking bones. It was around 2:30 in the afternoon. My husband had suffered his first heart attack the previous morning, and in those 24 odd hours, I had witnessed 19 code red situations. That 20th time, I couldn't take it anymore. So even as the team frantically tried to revive him, I pushed back the curtain, I walked to his bed, and I whispered into the ears of my childhood sweetheart who I had known since I was 9 years old. I said, "You can let go. I will take care of the children." The Shula had been unconscious for more than 24 hours. I truly believe he heard me, and moments after, they could not revive him again. The next thing that I had to do was to break the news to my children. My daughter Yana, 7, and my son Johan, 9 at the time. There was a little waiting room in the ICU, so I took them there, and I told them that their father had passed away. They had the expected gut reaction and broke down. But even before I could begin to comfort them, came the first question that I had to face as their sole parent. "Ma, what if you die too?" I clearly remember looking them in the eye and telling them a lie, which at that moment was my highest truth. I said, "I will fight death if I have to, but I will never leave you alone." That moment marked the beginning of my transformation. When I look back at that one event, that one moment when my whole life changed, I found myself asking this question: how did you remain so calm and hold it all together? The answer, I realized, was not in the how, but in the why. I was focused on my 2 kids. I had just promised their dad that I would take care of them on my own, and that responsibility started the minute he took his last breath. So that was the first of 3 life-changing lessons in my transformation journey. Learning number 1, finding your why. Now this is very important so that you do not get stuck in the old story of you. My old story was a very happy family of 4, but my new story was a single mom with 2 kids. I had a choice in that moment. I could keep replaying my old story and ask, why me? Or I could simply ask why. Why did I need to move forward? When I was clear about that, the first step and every step I took after, I was focused on what I had and what I wanted, and not on what I didn't have. Now that's a slight but a crucial differentiation that I want you to take note of. I didn't have a husband. I could stay focused on that, unable to do a thing. But I did have 2 children, and there was so much that I could do to impact their lives. When you're clear about your intention, you will focus all your attention and energy on it. And what you focus on will grow. As students on the brink of adulthood, you're going to face many uncharted horizons. You may not get into the university of your choice. You may not call the popular kids your friends. You may not get the job that you want. In these moments, I want you to find your why and then put all your energy and intention into what you have and where you want to go, not what you don't have and what you've left behind. When you're clear about your true motivation, no matter what obstacle life throws your way, you will not give up. Just like water follows the path of least resistance and always reaches the sea, so also you will keep going forward and nothing will seem unsurmountable. Learning number 2, building your tribe. You know what makes a good story great? It's the other characters that you bring into the story and the bigger story you write together. When you're focused on your why, you naturally attract other travelers on the same journey. My natural zest for life, the fact that I'd achieved financial stability, had thriving kids, and was leading a socially impactful life made me a natural mentor for others in the same situation who sought me out. That's when I started Dubai's first widow support group, Widow Warriors. 4 years ago, we were 5. Today, we are 25. And if you ask any of these women, they will tell you that this tribe is their second family that helped them through the toughest times of their life. When a painful incident turns your world upside down, remember, you don't have to set it straight all on your own. Search for your tribe. And if you don't naturally attract them, then start your own. That's when the magic happens. When you're on the same path, the obstacles are often the same. And together, you will learn and grow. My tribe inspired me to write a book. Ma, Will Life Ever Be the Same Again? Is a guide to help families navigate grief and rebuild. The stories in the book are that of my family, but they were inspired by the tribe. The challenges they were facing were the same that I had faced, and while we had each other to learn from, I knew that there were many that didn't and would benefit from our experience. Hence the book. So not only does the tribe build its own members, it goes on to create much bigger impact. Again, an important lesson to remember when you're leaving home and family to go to university. A strong main character has a strong tribe, and together you will write a much bigger story. Learning number 3, redefining your character. To get this right, make sure that no one else is holding the pen or writing your story for you. Let me explain. I had called our little group Widow Warriors because I thought the name sounded strong and I love alliteration. But there were some in the group that resisted this. In fact, they said, we love everything about our little family but the name. You see, the word widow carries a lot of stigma in many cultures. It is seen as one to whom the worst calamity has happened, one with bad luck and to be pitied. None of the women saw themselves that way. They didn't want anyone to pity them or think of them as a victim. Hence, a resistance to the name. But here was my thought. Why did we have to accept the definition of the word widow? Why couldn't we own it and redefine it? When people look at us, if they see vulnerable yet strong women, resilient, joyful, empowered, wouldn't the next generation of girls not feel the same stigma if they were to carry the same title? Today we accept so many definitions of what it means to be short or dark or fat or a failure. What if you own and redefined all those words? No matter what cards life deals you, being a victim is always a choice. From every slum, war-torn country, wherever there is death, destruction, injustice, there are a few who do not let their pain define them. And in that, they redefine themselves. So when you go out there, change definitions. Let people say, today I did a Priya or a Georgina or a Sujit. Let your very name stand for your values and the life that you lead. You know, I thought I had written a very great story and completely transformed after my inciting incident. The story that I'd written so far had led me to be a transformation coach, to help others that had suffered loss bring the joy back into their life. And the number one tool that I used to help them to do this was to get them to change the stories that they tell themselves. It was a philosophy that very early on I gave my children too. So as I said, I thought I'd written a great story with a strong, redefined character. But trust my kid with uninhibited imagination to write a much better one. My son Yuan was 11 when he said to me, "Ma, remember when I was 9 and we lost Dad and you said we would never be victims and we were responsible for writing our own stories? Ma, you made me feel so powerful that day. I felt like I was a superhero." I just didn't want my kids to write a victim story, but he went ahead and wrote a superhero one. So here's what I want you to remember when you find yourself in an uncharted horizon. First, don't ask, why me? Simply ask why. Second, go on to write a much bigger story by building your tribe. And third, redefine your character and live life as a superhero. Thank you.